if you are going to be doing that expanded research portfolio, what you need, and that brings us on to the second thing that we would change in academia, is to fully protect our research hours. Because one thing that always kind of hinders my diary is that I always try to section off research time, and I know Craig's very passionate about partitioning that off, making sure it's as protected as possible. But I kind of guess as you grow in academia, as you get more kind of leadership responsibilities, more academic roles, more administration roles, what happens is that you can't forego your teaching, you can't forego your student welfare and pastoral care. And so if anything additional comes that impacts your diary, what the first thing that we lose from that is our research time, because it's something that's easy for us to say, well, actually I can put that off. But if we do want to be hitting this promotion, we do need to start fully protecting the time that we put in our diaries for research time. And for me, that's roughly 1 day a week. I don't know about you, Craig.
Yeah, I try and protect 1 day a week. If I can get two, then I'll do that. But yeah, I tend to have two blocks, at least blocks on 2 days a week. If I need to then take one of those blocks out for admin stuff, then I will. But usually, yeah, it's 1 to 2 days a week.
Yeah, and it can be really important. And I think that when we talk about you get given 1 day for research in a particular role, and I think that's quite common in the UK for your basic lectureship position, unless you're a research fellow, then it might change. But when we do talk about days, we don't just mean 1 full day. Oftentimes, as Craig said, this might be split into 2 or maybe 3 blocks. And I kind of guess that as academics, it's our job to make sure that we're being as productive as we can within those blocks, because there's no point sitting down to do research if we're not in the mood to write. And we've spoken about that in quite a few podcasts now, and also some of our YouTube videos. But the main point is having that ability to protect that time. And I think that if we are being additionally workloaded, it's quite easy for us to forego that time. But if a employer or wider university really wants to push us in our role, and they want us to do well, they want to make sure as many staff get to senior positions as possible, then actually they do need to do a little bit more in terms of making sure that time is protected. Now, it might be that they try and envelop that in some sort of activity. So, for example, do we have designated writing retreats within our diary that everybody commits to? Is it something that can be managed a lot closer in terms of that line managerial role? So are your line managers making sure that they're not giving you additional duties which can impact on that research time? Craig, I don't know if there's anything else that you think that you would find beneficial in terms of the wider institutions helping you to protect that time.
Yeah, I mean, institutions kind of hamstrung, I guess, because a lot of the kind of core business of the university is to teach, particularly in the UK, where we don't have that many kind of intensively research oriented institutions. You think about the Oxfords, the Cambridges, the UCLs, the Kings, but you don't they're quite rare, to be honest, in terms of having staff that are specifically there, professors, associate professors that are specifically there to just research. So I think what you said just then was really interesting in terms of having 1 day a week. And most universities will say that you'll have 1 day a week for research. I've not noticed that, to be honest, in terms of workloads. It might be that you get a kind of short block where you have 1 day a week where you're able to do research. It might be that you have other blocks where you just don't have that. And that's something that is just part of the job, unfortunately. But it's about when you do get those times, making sure that you can just get straight into the action of writing and doing research. So stuff that we've spoken about before in terms of making sure that you have templates written, that you have a way of just, when you do have that block, even if it's just an afternoon, you can sit down and you can start working straight away, rather than trying to get into the mindset of research. I guess from an institutional perspective, issues like having research assistant support might be useful. Having ways that they set up their courses, maybe, whereby students can become more involved. So we have a way that we've worked in the past where we've had students work with us on their projects,
Yeah.
on ongoing projects that we've been doing. And ultimately what that's led to is us being able to do more research during our teaching time, whilst also supervising students in a way that is kind of, it maps onto professional training. They've also been able to go on to publish. So there's employability benefits there for students as well. So again, I guess that's not an institutional policy. It's something that we've just kind of instantiated ourselves. Yeah. But if there's a way of formalizing that, then potentially there's other ways that you can build in opportunities for research support without actually impacting the workloads of other areas of university life.